Alright, so this is the video of how to take off the lock mechanism. So the first thing you want to do is go to the trunk and see if the trunk actually opens. If it opens, then it means it's unlocked and you're in good shape. So there's a handle on the bottom. There's a handle, and if the trunk opens up all the way up and closes, and once it closes, if you push the trunk up without pulling the handle, if it remains closed, then it means the locking mechanism works. If the trunk is locked from the inside, as you can see, there's no key. There's no keyhole in the back. So you would have to go in the inside of the car, and since the power locks are powered, the car's not going to have a battery, so it won't. The truck will not unlock by simply putting up on the power lock. So you have to manually unlock it. So you pull down the back seats. You crawl in here. Oh, jeez. Let me pull up my flashlight here. Okay. Alright. So, this is the back of the trunk. And this is the panel you want to access. That panel right there. It's in the dead center of the trunk. So you take it out by simply pulling on that little tab. So you pull on that tab and it'll come right off. Small panel like that. Okay, so that's what you're gonna see basically. The white thing right there is the actuator, and that white lever is the manual release to the lock. So once you manually release that, let me see if I can do this with one hand. Okay, that releases it, and the other way opens it. It's kind of loose in there because I've already taken off the screws, but I had to break open the panel. You see these cut marks right here? Those two cut marks, I broke it so I could access the whole thing. So once you open it, there are going to be two screws that hold the actuator together. One here, one down there. Small screws. So once you take those screws off, you could get the actuator out of the way. And then it allows you to see the locking mechanism. So the screws that hold that together is 3 screws. One right there and 2 on the bottom. You can see it right there. The screws are gold in color, or brass in color I should say. The screw looks like this. It's a brass screw, and it's 3 of them, brass or gold in color. Okay, so I'm just gonna get this out of the way. This is the part that you need. That's what it looks like right there. If you're able to get the actuator, which was the white piece that goes on top of it, get it. But you are going to have to get the actuator out of the way in order to take this piece off. And the screw holes are one there, and one on top. So So those are the 3 screw holes. I'm going to point them out. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, if you notice in here, let's see how I could do this. Okay. Well, let me set this up. Put my flashlight inside so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. So those gold screws you're gonna take off, and the whole piece will come out. Okay. See, the third screw goes right on that hole. Where that hole is, that's where the third screw is gonna be. So those are the 3 screws. This process might be easier with the trunk open, so you could do it outside, and you'll probably get really hot if you do this inside the car in a junkyard. So I don't know, it might be easier just to let them take it out. Those are the 3 screws right there, and the only reason you see this bottom part still on there is because I'm using it to keep my trunk closed with a piece of ribbon temporarily, with a piece of zip tie. That's the only reason why I have that piece attached. But that piece normally goes with this piece that I already showed you, and it's basically the back part of this piece, because I basically I demolished the lock to allow my trunk to open. But that's what the piece looks like. I'll go ahead and take a picture of it and send it to you. I would probably let them take it out, because unless you wanna do it yourself, but it's a little challenging. Oh, and just an FYI, this is what you're gonna need to take those screws off. It's a number 10. I don't know if you can see it clearly. It's a number 10 what you're gonna need. Very small, but the size of it itself is the number 10. You can see it there. Okay, there it is. So 3 screws, very simple. Get the actuator out of the way. Alright, so that concludes this video. So that's what you need. Alright, peace.